The soft chime of the church bells rang across the quiet afternoon, carrying with it an air of joy and celebration. Anna adjusted the small white bow on her daughter Lily's dress and brushed a curl from her son Lucas's forehead. The twins were 6 years old now, full of boundless energy, questions, and the kind of innocence that made Anna's heart ache with both love and guilt. She had dressed them carefully for this day, Lily in a cream tulle dress with tiny pearls sewn on the bodice, Lucas in a miniature suit with a powder blue tie. Today, they were going to a wedding, a friend's wedding. Or so she thought. It had been a whirlwind morning. Anna had been juggling the twins, her part-time job at the cafe, and the never-ending stack of bills at home. She hadn't read the wedding invitation properly, she'd just seen the date, the church name, and the time. A message from her friend Mia had mentioned, "The wedding is going to be grand, don't be late." And Anna, rushing as always, had assumed this was Mia's big day. The church was packed with elegant guests in designer clothes, their laughter echoing under the high ceiling. Anna hesitated at the entrance. Something felt different. This wasn't the kind of simple ceremony she'd imagined for Mia. The floral arrangements alone probably cost more than Anna's yearly rent. "Mommy, is this Mia's wedding?" Lucas tugged at her hand, sensing her pause. "Yes, sweetheart," Anna said, though her voice faltered. "Let's just sit quietly." The organ music swelled, and everyone turned toward the entrance as the bride began walking down the aisle. Anna's breath caught. This wasn't Mia. The bride was tall, elegant, and breathtaking in a designer gown, her arm linked with her father's. And at the altar, waiting, stood the groom, a man Anna hadn't seen in years but could never forget. Ethan Gray. The name itself was enough to make her heart race and her hands tremble. Billionaire. CEO of Gray Enterprises. Cold, calculating, untouchable, and once, the man who had held her in his arms and whispered promises she'd been foolish enough to believe. She hadn't seen him since the night she left without saying goodbye, since the night she discovered she was pregnant with the twins. Her breath quickened, but before she could turn to leave, Lily's soft voice rang out, much louder than she intended. "Mommy, that man looks like me." Heads turned. A ripple of murmurs spread through the guests. Ethan's gaze, sharp and calculating, swept over the crowd, and landed on her. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. His eyes widened, his jaw tensed, and then his gaze flicked to the twins. Anna could see the exact moment his mind made the connection, the same dark hair, the same storm-gray eyes. He froze. The bride had nearly reached him, but Ethan didn't move. His hands curled into fists, his breathing uneven. Anna's heart pounded. She wanted to run, to disappear before he could confront her. But the aisle was crowded, and the twins were already waving at him, innocent smiles on their faces, unaware of the storm brewing in the groom's heart. "Anna." His voice was low but carried across the aisle. It wasn't a question, it was an accusation. The bride stopped mid-step, glancing between them, confusion flashing in her eyes. "Mommy, he knows you?" Lucas asked, his childlike curiosity slicing through the tension like a blade. Anna swallowed hard. "We have to go," she whispered, trying to guide them toward the exit. But Ethan's voice cut through the murmurs. "Stop." It wasn't loud, but it was commanding enough to freeze her in place. The entire church watched as the groom, leaving his stunned bride to be standing alone, walked down the aisle toward Anna. Every step he took felt like an eternity. Anna's pulse roared in her ears. She could barely breathe. When he reached her, his eyes locked on hers, searching, demanding answers. Then his gaze dropped to the twins again. "Twins," he said, his voice tight. "How old are they?" Anna tried to steady her voice. "Ethan, this isn't the time." "How old?" Her throat went dry. 6. A flicker of something, shock, realization, betrayal, crossed his face. 6, he repeated, almost to himself. "The math, it's exact." "Ethan, please," Anna whispered. "Not here." But Ethan's world had already shifted. He turned, scanning the sea of whispering guests, and then looked back at her. "We're not leaving this here," he said. "You're not leaving, Mommy." Lily's voice trembled now, sensing the tension. Ethan's gaze softened only for a moment as he looked at her, then hardened again when he met Anna's eyes. "We'll talk. After I deal with this." He walked back up the aisle slowly, every eye following him. The bride stared at him in disbelief, her knuckles white around her bouquet. "Ethan, what is going on?" she asked sharply as he returned to the altar. He didn't answer her. Instead, he glanced once more toward Anna before saying something that made the entire church gasp. "This wedding is postponed." The guests erupted in whispers. The bride's face turned pale, then red with fury. "Postponed? Ethan, what are you?" But he was already walking back toward Anna. Anna knew she should leave now, run before things spiraled even further. But the truth was, her legs wouldn't move. Part of her was still frozen in shock, part of her terrified of the confrontation she knew was coming. When Ethan stopped in front of her again, his voice was lower, almost dangerous. "You disappear for 6 years," he said, "and you show up, with them, on my wedding day." "I didn't mean to," Anna said quickly. "I thought this was someone else's wedding. I didn't know you were." "That's a lie," he cut in, his eyes narrowing. "You knew exactly what you were doing." Her chest tightened. "Ethan, I didn't come here to ruin your life. He glanced at the twins again, his voice cracking for the first time. "Are they mine?" Anna's lips parted, but no sound came out. The answer was in her eyes, and he saw it. His breath hitched. For a moment, the ruthless billionaire facade slipped, revealing something raw and vulnerable. Then he straightened, his voice cold again. "We're not talking here. You're coming with me." Before Anna could protest, he gestured to a security guard near the door. The man stepped forward, blocking her exit. The twins looked up at her, confused and scared. She forced a smile for them, even as panic coiled tight in her chest. Ethan leaned in just enough for her to hear. "You've kept them from me for 6 years. I don't care what it takes, Anna, I'm not letting you disappear again." And with that, the bells outside tolled once more, their cheerful sound now twisted into something ominous. Anna knew this day had just changed all of their lives forever. The ride from the church to Ethan's penthouse was silent except for the soft hum of the car's engine. Anna sat with the twins between her and Ethan, their small hands clutching hers tightly. Outside, the city passed in a blur, but inside the SUV, the air was thick with unspoken words. Ethan hadn't taken his eyes off the twins the entire time. Every so often, Anna caught him studying them, the shape of Lucas's jaw, the exact shade of Lily's eyes. Each glance made her heart race faster. When they arrived, the twins gasped at the sight of the towering glass building. Inside, the penthouse was modern and sleek, with floor-to-ceiling windows that looked out over the city skyline. "Whoa, Mommy, it's so big," Lucas whispered. Anna forced a smile. "Stay close." "Okay." Ethan's voice broke the moment. "Nina, take the kids to the game room." A woman in her 40s appeared from the hallway, smiling warmly at the twins. "Come with me, sweethearts. I've got some snacks and games." Anna hesitated. "Ethan, they'll be fine," he said, his tone brooking no argument. "We need to talk. Alone." The moment the twins disappeared down the hall, Ethan turned to her. The calm mask he'd worn in the car was gone. "6 years, Anna," he said, his voice low but trembling with controlled fury. 6 years without a word. Without telling me I had children. Anna took a deep breath. "I was going to. You were going to. Or you decided I didn't deserve to know." Her eyes burned. "Ethan, it wasn't that simple. You don't know what it was like back then." He stepped closer. "Then tell me. Make me understand why you vanished in the middle of the night. Why you left without saying goodbye. Why you," his voice cracked, and he looked away for a second before meeting her eyes again. "Why you took them from me before I even knew they existed." The memories came rushing back. The night she'd found out she was pregnant, the fear that gripped her when she imagined Ethan's reaction. Back then, he had been colder, more consumed by his empire than by any personal connection. And there had been his family. "Your father," Anna whispered. "He came to see me. He told me I was nothing. That I would ruin your life. He offered me money to disappear, said you had already agreed to marry someone else for the sake of the company." Ethan's eyes darkened. "My father said that. I believed him," she said, her voice breaking. I thought you didn't want me. And I knew I couldn't raise them in that world of cold deals and business arrangements. So I left. I found a small apartment. I worked 2 jobs. I did whatever it took to keep them safe." Ethan's jaw clenched. "Safe from me. Safe from being used," she shot back. "I've seen what power does to people, Ethan. I didn't want them to be pawns in your father's empire." He turned away, pacing to the window. The city lights reflected off the glass, casting shadows over his face. "You should have come to me. You should have let me decide." I was 24, pregnant, and terrified, she said. And by the time I thought about telling you, it had been years. How was I supposed to explain why I'd kept them from you for so long? He was silent for a long moment. When he turned back, his voice was quieter, but the steel was still there. They're my children, he said. I've missed their first words. Their first steps. Birthdays. School plays. I can't get those years back, but I'm not missing another day. Anna's chest tightened. What are you saying? I'm saying they're coming into my life, permanently. We'll figure out custody, but I'm not letting them grow up without me. Her stomach twisted. Ethan, they don't know you. You can't just. Then we'll change that, he interrupted. Starting now. Before Anna could respond, the twins came running back into the room, their laughter filling the tense silence. Lily clutched a small stuffed bear, while Lucas held a toy car. Mommy. Mister. Ethan has so many toys. Lily beamed. Ethan crouched down, looking them both in the eye. You can call me Dad, he said softly. Anna's breath caught. Lucas tilted his head. Like, real dad. Yes, Ethan said, his voice thick. I'm your real dad, and I'm never going to leave you. The twins exchanged a look, unsure, curious but not afraid. Anna watched the scene unfold, her heart torn in two. She saw the sincerity in Ethan's eyes, but she also knew this wasn't going to be simple. Ethan looked up at her, his expression unreadable. Tomorrow, I want to take them out. Just the three of us. And you're coming too. Anna hesitated. Ethan, no negotiations, he said. You've kept them from me for 6 years. Now, I'm going to make up for every single day I lost. She knew that look. Ethan Gray wasn't a man who gave up once he set his mind to something. And now, he'd set his mind on the twins. Anna swallowed hard, realizing that whatever life she'd built these past 6 years was about to change forever. And somewhere deep down, a question she didn't want to face began to stir. Was it possible that this wasn't the worst thing that could happen, but the beginning of something else entirely?